Good morning, Cullman. Thank you for joining us on Cullman Today. I'm your host, Christine Wiggins, and today's Wednesday, February 25th. Coming up on Cullman Today, Cullman City Council is weighing zoning changes to make rebuilding easier and a program that could pay up to $20,000 to replace blighted homes. Plus, checks from the 2025 Cullman Christkindlmarkt are headed to 14 local groups. More than $60,000 was presented at Monday's City Council meeting. And Cullman Tribune's live debates return to Wallace State Community College, starting with Senate District 4 and a sheriff debate. All this plus sports, weather, and more. Now let's take a closer look at the top stories happening in Cullman today. The Cullman City Council on Monday night held first readings and public hearings on several proposed ordinance changes, including updates tied to non-conforming lots and rebuilding after damage. One proposal would allow buildings damaged by fire or severe weather to be reconstructed in their original form, even if they don't meet current zoning standards, as long as certain conditions are met. Other changes would allow, with city approval, construction on some undersized or non-conforming lots and limited subdivision of residential lots with two separate structures. Council members also heard a new residential enhancement incentive ordinance aimed at replacing blighted or derelict structures on non-conforming lots. Under that program, qualifying new construction could receive a $10,000 reimbursement, doubled to $20,000 if removing an existing derelict structure is required. In other business, the council adopted an ordinance setting standards for electric vehicle charging stations, including code compliance, placement requirements, and safety protections. The next council meeting is Monday, March 9th at 7 p.m. at Cullman City Hall. Cullman Parks Recreation and Sports Tourism Executive Director Nathan Anderson presented checks totaling more than $60,000 to 14 local organizations during last night's Cullman City Council meeting, sharing proceeds raised through the 2025 Cullman Christkindlmarkt Charity Project. Organizations receiving checks included the Cullman Area Technology Academy, Children's of Alabama, Brooks Place, Kurt's Closet, Northbrook Caring Center, United Way of Cullman County, 130 Network, Pilot Lighthouse, Cullman Elks Lodge, Cullman Caring for Kids, the Link of Cullman County, the Willow Path, Hope Horses, and the Cullman County Public Library. Anderson said the effort grew out of a question raised at last year's presentation by Katie Brown about whether the Christkindlmarkt could be used to support local charities. He said the event's platform and the crowds it draws made it a natural fit to recognize community causes and create a fundraising opportunity. Anderson said the project ultimately raised $60,923, powered by event vendors, dedicated volunteers, and other fundraising efforts. Participants contributed at least 3 days of service during the event, and 20% of funds raised were directed to the charity project. The Cullman Tribune will continue its live candidate debate series in 2026, giving voters a chance to hear directly from candidates ahead of Election Day. The first confirmed forum will feature Alabama Senate District 4. Incumbent Senator Garland Gudger Jr. and challenger J.R. Bowling, both Republicans, are scheduled to debate Tuesday, May 12th, starting at 6 p.m. The event will be held at the James Bailey Center Auditorium on the Wallace State Community College campus in Hanceville. The Tribune says it will invite every candidate who qualifies for the ballot and is keeping debates closer to the primary election on May 19th, with the primary runoff on June 16th and the general election on November 3rd. A second debate is also in the works. Cullman County Sheriff candidates Chad Whaley and Tim Creel plan to appear Thursday, May 14th at 6 p.m., also at the Bailey Center. And that's all for our top stories this morning. Coming up, Cullman didn't just win, they made a statement. The Bearcats blew past Lee Huntsville by 27 to grab the regional title and punch their ticket back to the Final Four. Sports is next. Welcome back. When head coach Stu Studeman took Cullman to the Final Four in 2022, it was the program's first trip in 90 years. Now, just his fifth season, he's sending the Bearcats back again. Cullman dominated Lee Huntsville 80-53 to win the Class 6A Boys Northwest Regional Championship. After an early back and forth, John Luke Witcher and Sam Duro knocked down timely threes to push Cullman to an 18-10 lead after one. From there, the Bearcats' full court pressure, their chaos style, took over. Cullman hit 7 first-half threes while Lee didn't make one, and the Bearcats carried a 34-14 lead into the halftime. Lee made a run in the third, cutting it to 42-31, but Colt Fletcher answered with back-to-back threes to shut the door. Cullman finished with 13 threes on the day. Duro led with 20 points plus 5 rebounds and 6 assists. Brooks Lofton had 17 and 9 boards, and Hopper added 10 points and 10 rebounds. Cullman advances to the state semifinals March 4th at 10:30 a.m. at the BJCC, facing Spain Park or Calera. From the basketball court to the tennis court, the varsity tennis Bearcats picked up a pair of road wins over the Gardendale Rockets on Tuesday. The Bearcat boys dominated their matchup, earning an 8-1 win to move to 6-1 on the season. The Lady Bearcats matched that performance with an 8-1 victory of their own, staying perfect on the season at 7-0. Cullman will be back in action Thursday when they travel to take on the Decatur Red Raiders. And that wraps up sports for today. Coming up next, First United Methodist Church in Cullman is asking the community to help keep local students from going hungry on weekends through its Knapsacks for Kids program. Plus, Books and Brews is back March 14th at the Goat at Cotton Creek. Fill up your next reading pile and help fund library renovations. Welcome back. Now it's time to speed things up with a news rundown. 4 stories in under 4 minutes. Books and Brews is back in Cullman. The Friends of the Public Libraries of Cullman County will host its annual Books and Brews book sale on Saturday, March 14th at the Goat at Cotton Creek. Shoppers can browse a wide selection of books with most priced at just 50 cents each. Organizers encourage guests to bring a bag or box and build a new to-be-read stack while supporting a local cause. Proceeds from the sale will help fund the library's capital campaign for renovations. The Friends say every purchase goes directly back into improving library spaces and services for the community. The town of Berlin is now accepting vendors for the upcoming Berlin Farmers Market season. Organizers are welcoming farmers and gardeners, bakers and cottage food vendors, artisans and makers, food trucks, and a limited number of local nonprofits. New this year, the market will operate out of a new facility with restrooms and a small children's play area designed to be more comfortable and family-friendly for vendors and shoppers. If you're interested in becoming a grower, Berlin Farmers Market will also host a 2026 Growers Meeting on Friday, March 20th at 1 p.m. at Berlin Town Hall. 461 County Road 1615 in Cullman. For details or to apply, contact Market Manager Kirsten Montgomery at 256-736-3138 or email clerk@berlinal.gov. Kindergarten registration is now underway for families with future Bearcats. The first registration event is set for this Friday, February 27th from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. School officials encourage parents and guardians to schedule an appointment ahead of time, but it's not required. Walk-ins will also be accepted. To complete registration, families will need to bring 2 proofs of residency, your child's birth certificate, an up-to-date immunization record, and the parent or guardian's driver's license. If there are custody arrangements, be sure to bring that paperwork as well. The school says the goal is to make the process smooth and welcoming as they prepare to greet the newest Bearcats for the upcoming school year. And when the school week ends, some students in our community face a tough reality. They may not have guaranteed meals until Monday. First United Methodist Church of Cullman says its Knapsacks for Kids program is working to close that gap by sending weekend meals and snacks home with food insecure students. When possible, the bags also include milk, juice, and fresh fruit. The ministry currently serves students at East Elementary, West Elementary, Cullman Middle School, and Cullman High School, and organizers say they're the only group providing weekend food support for those schools. Church leaders say it's a big responsibility, and they're asking the community to help. They estimate $25 to $30 can provide a full month of weekend meals for one student. Groups interested in partnering, hosting a presentation, or giving can contact the church office at 256-734-6690 or email Lillian Sheffield at lilliansheffield53@gmail.com. And that's your 4 stories in under 4 minutes. Now for a quick break before we look at the weather ahead and pay our respects with obituaries. I'll be right back after this quick message. Let's take a moment to pause and remember those who lost their lives this week. Isla Renee Tolliver, 57 of Cullman, passed away Monday, February 23rd. Visitation will be today from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Cullman Funeral Home Chapel with funeral service at 1 p.m. Interment will be at Fairview West Cemetery. Ronald Dwight Justice, 75 of Vinemont, passed away Friday, February 20th. Visitation will be Saturday, February 28th from 2 to 4 p.m. at Vinemont Community Center. Graveside service will be at Panama Missionary Baptist Church. Visitation for Joshua Lee Duncan, 49 of Pinson, will be today from noon to 2 p.m. at Hansville Funeral Home. Funeral service will follow at 2 p.m. with burial at Hopewell Cemetery. Joe Sterling Beasley, 80 of Bremen, passed away Sunday, February 22nd. Visitation will be Friday, February 27th at Kenny Grove Baptist Church from noon until service time at 2 p.m. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. Our thoughts and prayers go out to their friends and families. Now let's take a look at your weather forecast. Today will be mostly cloudy with a high near 61. Tonight we've got a 50% chance of showers, staying cloudy with a low around 52. Rain amounts look light. Tomorrow, rain chances go way up. Expected showers and maybe a thunderstorm, especially after lunchtime, with a high near 66 and about an 80% chance of rain. Tomorrow night, showers and a few storms are most likely before midnight, then the chance gradually tapers off overnight. Mostly cloudy with a low around 46. And that wraps up today's edition of Cullman Today. Thank you for sharing your morning with us, and remember to stay connected by following us on social media and visiting CullmanTribune.com for the latest from our community. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. Until then, I'm Christine Wiggins with Cullman Today. Have a wonderful day, Cullman.